Hello, I'm Karen Brack, Chief of the City of Charleston Fire Department in Charleston, South Carolina. On June 18, 2007, our department lost 9 firefighters during a fire at the Sofa Superstore on Savannah Highway. That loss changed the Charleston Fire Department forever. The emotional toll from the fire on survivors of the fallen, fellow firefighters, and their families has been enormous. At the direction of Mayor Joe Riley, there has been a dramatic remaking of the Charleston Fire Department that is still underway. The video you're about to see by the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation looks at the progress the department has made in a relatively short time, and it focuses on the remarkable leader who helped us get there, Chief Tom Carr. At the same time, Chief Carr was dealing with challenges of his own after having been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. It is now my job to work with the men and women of the Charleston Fire Department to build on the foundation that Chief Carr left us and to do everything that we can to prevent such a tragedy from ever occurring again.
Charleston, South Carolina is a city with a long, proud past.
Anthony is buried in there. She was a Constitution fighter.
Families can trace their roots to the nation's very beginning, when colonists fought for freedom. And when the Civil War's first shots were fired at Fort Sumter. Every antebellum column, every horse-drawn wagon, and every single city block takes you back through history.
Pratt is the only street in Charleston that runs from river to river.
From the Founding Fathers to the fire department on Wentworth Street, tradition runs deep here. And in the firehouse, it's even deeper. An alloy of 3 rich cultures: American, Southern, fire service.
That's good, thank you.
The Charleston Fire Department has a lot of tradition and history in itself, and it's been around since obviously 1882 when it was first formed as a full-time paid department.
History teaches lessons that can help us move forward. Tradition, doing things the way they've been done for generations, allows us to honor our past. Striking a balance between the two can be difficult.
We are Southerners, and we're strong family ties, hugely involved in tradition. And it's not always the right thing to do. And sometimes that's hard for us to realize.
Sometimes we get stuck in tradition and things that we do, we're used to doing.
There used to be a lot of hard-nosed, old-school firefighters and captains, and we did a lot of rushing in before we evaluated the situation.
Tradition is excellent. I believe in tradition. What I don't believe in is hiding behind a tradition so you don't have to incorporate new ideas and strategies and evolve your fire department.
Those traditions of the Charleston Fire Department suddenly came under scrutiny in the most tragic of ways. The date, June 18th, 2007.
We had heavy smoke coming from that direction.
The day 9 City of Charleston firefighters died.
I want you to come on across the truck and run the street Savannah Highway and come in the front door.
At the time, didn't know who was missing, who guys. Didn't know that the guys with my company were missing at the time until later on.
You inside? Inside, can you help me?
And now we can't find 2 guys. We can't find 5 guys. There are 9 guys missing.
He's in the back. He's trapped in the back.
I didn't realize that we'd lost 9 people until the coroner actually was on scene.
Mark Davis, one of the last to escape the Sofa Superstore, knows how close they came to losing even more firefighters.
I was running low on air at that time, and I knew that I had to get out of the building. I followed the hose till I got to the door. I didn't realize it was a door had come down. We made it outside the building, and I collapsed right at the front of the building. And probably 45 seconds later, the building was involved in flames. It was sheer stupid luck that it wasn't me. Nothing more than luck.
And hours after their death, the 9 found, carried out by their brothers.
In every firehouse, on every rig, the firefighters who were lost in the Sofa Superstore fire are remembered. the Charleston 9.
Captain Lewis Mulkey, Captain Mike Binky,
Captain William Billy Hutchinson,
Firefighter Melvin Champagne,
Engineer Bradford Brad Beatty,
Engineer Mark Kelsey,
Assistant Engineer Michael Frenchy French, Firefighter James Earl Drayton,
Firefighter Brandon Thompson.
Brad Beatty, we actually came up together. We made third driver together, engineer together. We worked in the same houses together. So I always think about him, think about his wife, his kids. It didn't hit me until the next day. Reporting to work the next day and seeing the beds unmade, seeing the cars, the vehicles still back in the back.
That was very tough, knowing that someone was going to be, some family was going to be without a son, some family was going to be without a father.
He was the last one to come out of the fire, and he would like it that way.
Firefighter Brandon Thompson's father, Frank, and stepmother, Stephanie, know the pain they feel is shared by 8 other families.
He wanted to be a firefighter. He wanted to be on the hose.
The Thompsons take great pride in the way all of the firefighters who died are remembered. For Brandon, it includes a road in Somerville named in his honor. His name is also on the firehouse where he once volunteered. But the Thompsons are hoping that the lessons from the tragic fire will provide the most important legacy.
Those 9 guys did not die in vain.
After the fire, and now only, and up to now, with being analyzed and assessed and evaluated, they've had every agency and every acronym in the federal government, it seems like to me, come in and be a part of that. Everything that they believed in, the people that were here on June 18th of 2007, those people, everything they believed in the fire service has been called into question. Every single fiber of what they do.
With such criticism, there are always those who choose to circle the wagons and shun outsiders. In many ways, it's a natural reaction.
Charleston is a very traditional city. We don't take well to change.
Change is never easy.
It isn't easy, but sometimes it's necessary. It's necessary.
For firefighters and Charleston's leaders, the magnitude of loss from that one fire was the motivation for change.
That's our drive for moving forward, those 9 guys.
Richard Waring, who is now the chief of the Somerville Fire Department, says the Charleston Fire Department is much different today than in 2007.
We've hit some roadblocks and we stumbled a little bit, but we're trying to basically springboard, 15 years into a 5-year period. So yeah, we've come a long way, and it's changing every day, still ever evolving.
My father was in the fire department, my uncle was in the fire department, my son is in the fire department, and we value traditions, but we also have to move forward and work in the modern environment.
While many were eager for change, someone had to lead the way. For the first time in the city's history, Mayor Joseph Riley looked outside the department for a fire chief.
Chief Carr, congratulations and welcome to Charleston.
In 2008, Tom Carr, the chief of Maryland's Montgomery County Fire Rescue Department, came to Charleston.
Well, it was an opportunity. It was a real interesting challenge after what they'd been through and how, reading the media, I understood what was going on. I didn't understand the complexities of it all, but I saw what was happening, and it seemed like a chance to do something that was worthwhile and maybe more exciting than working in a big city.
Bringing in an outsider to a fire department steeped in tradition doesn't always ensure progress. But Tom Carr had 2 things working for him: his leadership style and his birthplace.
I was born here and never lived here, and so I never put anything into being born here. I sort of poo-pooed it, but when the press said born here and everyone kept saying born here, I realized it counted for something. You don't see it. It's not. You wouldn't think it would. It counts for a lot. It counts for a lot, and so now I know to take advantage of it. You say you're from here, and that's powerful, and that helps. You need every leg up you can get.
With his leadership, this fire department's done a complete 180.
The chief, a very courageous, strong man. He has taken on a fire department that was in the national limelight or eyesight of everyone across the nation, and he's taken it head on.
My favorite saying is when I'm on Tuesday, Chief Carr is already on Friday. He truly has, he's teaching us to be dreamers. In the fire service, we dream totally of what the next call or fire is we're going on.
Many of those dreams quickly became reality under Chief Carr.
The changes have been astronomical for the officers and firefighters here. They've had to absorb an awful lot and put it in place over a very short period of time.
We still have the tough firefighters that we used to have, but I think we're a lot smarter than we used to be. Our evaluation on how we attack fires is a lot different.
Our name is still the same. Everything else has changed, from the uniforms we wear, our response packages for alarms, all the way up to structure fires from technical rescues, the amount of manpower, the staffing, the level of accreditation for our members in-house, and the level of training we ask of our neighboring departments. Even our mutual aid and auto aid agreements have expanded our capabilities probably at least tenfold.
Working with those neighboring departments, Chief Carr set a standard not only for Charleston, but the region.
We all work together now, and in a seamless fashion. We have a common SOP, and everything is geared toward safety of the firefighters, safety of the citizens, giving the best response and best service that we can get.
Internally, as far as the operations with the City of Charleston goes, we do command from a vehicle. We've got the commanders working in a new platform to make that happen.
Battalion 103 is arriving on scene. Be advised, I have a two-story wood frame residential occupied structure, nothing showing from the Alpha or Delta side.
We've worked on radio procedures and operations on the incident scene. More teaching and getting them through a process of risk-based decision-making as far as they're analyzing their assignments and their incidents when they arrive.
Now, we're actually looking at it and say, okay, let me look what I have and understand what I'm going up against. I'm trying to take it a smarter approach and say, okay, I'm still coming here to win. I'm still coming to beat you, but I'm gonna find a different way. Look at all my avenues and what I can do to beat you this day.
I'd rather be hands-free.
Training has become the foundation for progress.
My job as RIT officer, what do you think?
I mean, you're gonna wanna have plenty of light.
At the station level.
You have a good visual representation in your mind of what the drill field is? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And at the academy.
On time.
This is the 9-tire drill. It's about the whole concept of searching, maintaining awareness, and putting together all the pieces necessary to maintain situational awareness. One of the things that we call this recruit class is firefighter survival school as much as a recruit school.
We have 21 footsteps that are painted on our concrete. Every morning during our recruit classes, our recruits line up here for roll call in the morning, and then they're dismissed every afternoon. There's one set of footprints for everyone that we've lost in the history of the fire department. Every firefighter who's given the ultimate sacrifice to protect the citizens of Charleston.
At the end of the day, when we do a formal lineup, everyone steps back and says,
"Everyone goes home, sir!"
Because it reminds them every day that it could be them. Every day, that's the first thing they see in the morning and the last thing they see in the evening. And we're always cognizant of the fact that this is a dangerous job, and we train our firefighters to be prepared for any eventuality that may happen.
Each class leaves some type of memory along the way that all the other classes have to follow. The first class actually developed a bell that sits on a stand by our little Sofa Superstore memorial area, and at the end of the day, they ring that bell. And that signifies that they've had a successful day of training, that they're going to continue the lessons that they learned that day throughout their career, and they're going home to their family and loved ones.
There's a lot of training going on.
When the sprinklers have been activated, this force that you're feeling here is pretty much the same thing that sprinkler head is pushing down.
It's just putting all the pieces back into a box after they've been scattered.
Of course, not every piece fits perfectly. Resistance to change brings conflict.
It's like any other fire service family. There's internal family squabbles, and there's also great brotherhood. The one thing that I think is most inspiring about working here is the way the guys pull together under adversity.
But it was mostly about emotional things and having trust and confidence in communications.
There was some resistance in the beginning, but I think it actually worked out.
And I had to blend that and blend the tradition with creating new tradition. That's one of the things I told the guys, we're creating new tradition. We're not throwing out the old.
Chief Carr is definitely looking out for not only their best interest, the best interest of their wife, their children, their mother, because nobody wants to be the one to make the call about a line of duty death.
I think this is going to become a place that's known, not for the Sofa Superstore fire, but for what it became after that. I think that's the message is, forget that. That launched this new organization and launched new focus.
In this room and the fire room, all right? Use all the techniques you learned today.
As challenging as it's been, changing rules and procedures.
Work together to slide it. When you go upstairs, you will find an adult victim.
Buying new equipment and quickly winning the hearts and minds of firefighters may have been the easy part of the past 5 years. Firefighters are still dealing with the hardest part. The psychological trauma of losing 9 friends, 9 brothers, in a close-knit family.
This site will always be remembered in Charleston's history. It truly is sacred ground.
Debbie Blaylock helps lead psychological counseling services for Charleston's firefighters.
We basically went and just stood around and were just present. And if anyone wanted to talk, we would talk and we would listen. Firefighters are the ones that help everybody else, so they don't easily accept help.
Because I came up in the fire service that said that we were tough and we needed to suck it up and not worry about it. And I know from my own experiences that, that's simply not the best way to go.
The counselors needed help too, help in connecting with firefighters. That came from the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. The foundation brought in a team of behavioral health experts who had experience working with firefighters. Much of that experience came the hard way from FDNY after the attacks of 9/11. Through this, New York firefighters came to Charleston to help.
There were some folks who were suicidal, and I do think that the team really did help them in getting over that very scary, dangerous hump and helping them see that there were better answers than suicide.
We had a lot of guys come out from New York to help us out with our situation because they'd lost a lot of guys at the towers. And their help was tremendous with us because we were dealing with things we didn't know how to cope. We had guys that were, drinking more, that were, going through family issues because they didn't know how to deal with the loss at home.
But what we have in place, loud and clear, sound and solid, is behavioral health. And the guys use it, and they don't feel concerned about using it. They use it like no other place I've seen. And I understand why. And their families use it. And it's well received, and I think it's saving a bunch of guys' lives.
Help for the Charleston firefighters after the Sofa Superstore fire didn't just come from the fire service. Citizens groups and local business leaders felt they could make a difference, and they did.
A very impressive, an incredible effort that was organized in a very short time that did, I believe, a very good job of showing respect for the community, or the community be able to show respect for the firefighters.
Grant Reeves, president of PBI Performance Products Incorporated, says helping citizens understand the department's needs is critical to making the positive changes stick.
They need better protection, but they also need better training. And being able to get that message out into the community is a worthwhile goal.
The community support validated decisions by city leaders to provide resources to the department despite a struggling economy.
The mayor's top priority is public safety here, and he sticks to his word there. When you talk to our colleagues around the country and you hear things that are going on with them, you realize that you're really blessed to be here.
And where a lot of other departments and a lot of other cities are laying off firefighters right and left, we've actually added to our staff, and we're keeping up with our attrition rate. We're running constantly 4-person staffing on each apparatus.
And the backing from Charleston's mayor, city council, business leaders, and the public did not waver when Chief Carr announced in April 2010 He was facing a new challenge.
Today, the fire chief announced that he is battling Parkinson's disease.
The things that bothers me the most is my speech, because I used to have a strong voice and do a lot of speaking. I think I've got a lot of time left and there's a lot to do.
Buoyed by the support of Charleston's firefighters, Chief Carr made the decision to stay on as chief. He continued strengthening the department as Parkinson's weakened his body.
I don't think I've ever seen a glimpse of pain, nothing but positive, a courageous leader, to say the least.
When you see what he goes through to come to work every day, it sort of makes you take a second to think back, reflect on what you think are your issues, and say to yourself, well, if he can do it, I need to do 10 times more.
Chief Carr being stricken with the sickness that he has. He has the ability to mentally lead this fire department 10 years ahead of where the rest of us are right now.
For somebody who can't do it as well as he did it before physically, to be there and still leading the charge, he still wants us to do what's right, and he's leading that charge by doing what's right, and he's always an inspiration and will always be an inspiration in my life.
I love him. He's caring, he's warm, he's sincere, and he really, truly, in his heart, wants what's best for the firefighters.
It's powerful. The people keep me going. I can't do it without them.
But the chief couldn't keep going. A bleak prognosis from doctors in early 2012 forced Chief Carr's retirement.
Excellent leader. Excellent. It's going to be hard to replace him.
With his retirement, there's a huge void being created. People are already starting to miss him.
The guys would have loved to have kept him longer.
But Tom Carr's legacy lives on in training, new procedures, new equipment, and most importantly, in the optimism many firefighters have about the department's future.
First time in my career, 19 years and 3 fire departments, that I've ever had a man just allow me to take my dreams and run with them.
You know, this fire department has moved up tremendously. The new changes, new equipment, new policies that we had has just been phenomenal. Not just for this fire department, but for the whole area. It's been grasped by the firemen here, neighboring fire departments. And this actually, I think, is going to be a model, not just for this area, but for the whole state of South Carolina.
And I think we're in line for being one of the top fire departments in the nation.
We're part of a very sad fraternity of departments who have had numerous line-of-duty deaths and multiple line-of-duty deaths. As sad as it may be, our lineage will be, how do you bounce back from that, admit that what you did was not the appropriate thing, and then correct your fire department and set a path to be one of the best fire departments in the country.
Every day you think about it, and it's one of the drives that keeps you moving, keeps you going. It's the reason I haven't left. You know, I want to make sure that when I do leave this place, that it's a place that's well thought of and people are safer.
I believe the legacy is what we continue to do each and every day, and that's in honor of those guys and in honor of other fallen firefighters and their families. The legacy is whatever it takes to get it done, doing it right.
These names mean everything, not only to me, but to every City of Charleston firefighter. They're the reason that we work harder. They're the reason that we train harder. And we will always remember the sacrifices that they made. The ultimate sacrifice. The ultimate sacrifice.